The silent invasion. Earth had flourished for nearly a century as part of the Galactic Union. The initial shock of first contact had long faded into a comfortable partnership as humanity integrated alien technologies into their societies. Cities glittered with crystalline towers that harvested energy directly from sunlight. Transportation pods whisked people across continents in minutes. Medical nanites eliminated most diseases. Earth had transformed from a divided world of competing nations into a unified global community. The Galactic Union, comprised of over 200 species from 47 star systems, had maintained peace for millennia. Their council chambers orbited a neutron star at the galaxy's heart, where representatives from all member worlds gathered to resolve disputes and share knowledge. Humans, still considered newcomers, were respected for their adaptability and creative problem-solving, if occasionally regarded with bemusement by older species. Ambassador Ileana Reyes represented Earth in these chambers, a seasoned diplomat with silver-streaked dark hair and eyes that reflected both wisdom and mischief. She had spent 15 years building relationships with alien delegates. Today, she sat in Earth's embassy on Union Station, reviewing trade agreements when her communication panel flashed red. The emergency protocol. Ambassador, her eye assistant's voice remained calm despite the alert level. All communications with Earth have ceased. Multiple Union monitoring stations report a massive energy signature approaching the Sol system. Ileana's blood ran cold. Show me. The holographic display revealed a formation of obsidian vessels moving through the outer reaches of Earth's solar system. They weren't Union ships. Their design, asymmetrical structures that seemed to absorb rather than reflect light, matched nothing in the database. Alert the Council, she ordered, already moving toward the emergency transport. And get me everything we have on unidentified species in that sector. Across Earth, people witnessed the approaching fleet as dark shadows passing across the sun. Communication systems faltered, then died. Satellite networks went dark. The orbital defense platforms, built as a precaution but never expected to be used, went silent before they could activate. In Washington, D.C., the Global Defense Council convened an emergency session. General Mikhail Volkov, commander of Earth's modest defense forces, presented the limited information they had. The vessels appeared without warning, he explained, his weathered face grim. They'd positioned themselves over major population centers. Our most advanced systems can't penetrate their shields to determine life signs or weapons capabilities. Council Chair Imani Okafor, a tall woman with close-cropped silver hair, studied the projections. Have they made contact? As if in response, every functioning screen on Earth flickered to life simultaneously. The image showed a being unlike any species humans had encountered through the Union. It appeared as a shifting mass of iridescent tendrils surrounding a central cord that pulsed with blue-green light. Humans of Earth, the being spoke, its voice eerily melodic yet devoid of emotion. We are the silence. Your species has been evaluated and found disruptive to cosmic harmony. Your minds generate chaotic wavelengths that threaten the delicate balance we preserve. You will surrender your world and accept relocation to designated facilities. Resistance is futile. You have one planetary rotation to comply. The message repeated in every language on Earth. Then the screens went dark. Panic erupted in cities worldwide. People fled to their homes, gathered supplies, sought loved ones. Military units mobilized, but with communications compromised and no way to coordinate a global response, their efforts seemed futile. In the council chamber, stunned silence followed the transmission. Then, unexpectedly, Dr. Weizhong, head of xenobiology research, began to laugh. It started as a chuckle, then grew into full-bodied laughter that echoed through the chamber. "I'm sorry," he gasped, wiping tears from his eyes. "But this is straight out of every B-movie alien invasion scenario from the last century. Surrender or die. Really, that's their diplomatic approach." His laughter, inappropriate as it seemed, broke the tension. Chair Okafor's lips twitched. Even General Volkov's stern expression softened slightly. "They clearly know nothing about human psychology," Dr. Zhang continued. "Threatening us is the surest way to unify us against them." Within hours, as the Silence's ships maintained their ominous positions above Earth's cities, something unexpected happened. Humanity's response to existential threat took a uniquely human form: humor. Social media platforms, still functioning beneath the communication blackout, filled with memes about the invasion. Artists created cartoons depicting the Silence as confused jellyfish. Comedians performed emergency broadcasts, mocking the invaders' dramatic ultimatum. Cosmic harmony. "Has anyone checked if these guys are just really aggressive yoga instructors?" quipped a popular comedian. The jokes spread faster than the fear, not because people weren't afraid. They were terrified. But because humor had always been humanity's shield against terror, it was defiance disguised as laughter. Behind this psychological defense, Earth's leaders worked frantically. The quantum communication device, a gift from the Union, remained operational despite the blackout. Chair Okafor sent desperate messages to Ambassador Reyes, updating her on the situation. On Union Station, Ileana fought to be heard by the Council. "These Silence have violated multiple Union treaties," she argued. "Earth requires immediate assistance." The Council's senior member, an ancient being from a crystalline species called the Luminar, raised a glittering appendage. "We have no record of these invaders," the Luminar stated. "Their technology appears beyond even our most advanced capabilities. We must approach with caution." "While you approach with caution, my people face extinction." Ileana's voice echoed through the chamber. "Not extinction," corrected another council member, a gaseous entity contained within an environmental suit. "The Silence offer relocation." "Forced relocation is still an act of aggression," Ileana countered. "I demand the Union honor its defense pact with Earth." Back on Earth, the Global Defense Council made a critical decision. They would meet with the Silence. A delegation gathered in Geneva. Chair Okafor, General Volkov, Dr. Zhang, and representatives from major regions. The meeting location, a simple park beside Lake Geneva, had been chosen for its neutrality and open space. The Silent shuttle descended silently, a teardrop of darkness against the blue sky. 3 beings emerged, similar to the one in the transmission but smaller, their tendrils contained within translucent environmental suits. "We come to verify your surrender," the lead being stated, its voice bypassing audio entirely and resonating directly in the humans' minds. Chair Okafor stepped forward. "We're not surrendering. We propose dialogue instead." The 3 Silence beings pulsed with blue light, communicating silently among themselves. "Dialogue is unnecessary. Your species has been evaluated." "On what basis?" Dr. Zhang asked, scientific curiosity overriding caution. "What exactly makes us disruptive to cosmic harmony?" "Your minds," replied the Silence. "They emit chaotic frequencies, unpredictable, dangerous, contaminating." General Volkov frowned. "Our thoughts are dangerous to you. To the universe, balance must be maintained." A young aide standing behind the delegation couldn't suppress a snort of laughter. The Silence beings turned as one, their tendrils writhing with what might have been agitation. "You find extinction humorous?" they asked. "No," the aide replied, suddenly the center of attention. "I find it funny that you crossed the galaxy to threaten us because our thoughts are too messy for you. Have you considered meditation? It works wonders for us chaotic humans." The Silence conferred again, their pulses more rapid and intense. When they spoke again, their mental voice carried a new tone, something almost like uncertainty. "Your response is unexpected. No species has responded to our ultimatum with humor." Chair Okafor seized the opening. "Perhaps that's why we're disruptive. We don't react as you predict. Humanity thrives on chaos, on the unexpected. It's not a threat. It's our greatest strength." As the Geneva meeting continued, something unprecedented was happening in orbit. The Union fleet had arrived, not as a military force, but as observers. Ambassador Reyes had convinced them to witness the confrontation, hoping their presence might deter violence. What they observed astonished them. Across Earth, humans were broadcasting directly at the silent ships. Not attacks, not surrender, but music, art, jokes, stories. Every creative expression of humanity's chaotic, beautiful, unpredictable minds aimed upward at the invaders who feared those very qualities. And somewhere in the darkness of space, the true nature of the silence and humanity's unique power was about to be revealed. The laughter of defiance. Aboard the primary silence vessel, the overseer observed the human broadcasts with growing distress. The ship's central chamber pulsed with the collected consciousness of thousands of silence entities, all linked in neural harmony. Yet now, that harmony showed ripples of disruption. The human resistance continues, reported a subcoordinator, its tendrils flickering with agitation. They direct their chaotic thought patterns at our ships deliberately. The overseer's core darkened to deep indigo, a sign of concern in their species. Increase the dampening fields. We cannot allow contamination. But the dampening fields were already at maximum capacity. Human creativity. Their music, art, jokes, stories wasn't just random noise. It carried patterns within chaos, structure within freedom. It bypassed the silence's protective measures in ways their technology couldn't counter. On Earth, the Geneva meeting continued into its third hour. Dr. Zhang had taken the lead, his scientific curiosity driving the conversation. "Let me understand," he said to the silence delegates. "Your species perceives thoughts as energy patterns." "All thought is energy," confirmed the lead delegate. "Most species generate ordered, predictable patterns. Yours do not. And this disturbs your harmony. The cosmic balance requires order. Your species generates discordance." General Volkov leaned forward. "Yet you communicate with us now. Aren't you at risk of contamination?" The silence delegates pulsed rapidly between themselves before answering. "We are shielded. Limited exposure is permitted for evaluation purposes." Chair Okafor, who had been quietly observing, spoke up. "What if we could demonstrate that our chaos isn't harmful, that it might even be beneficial?" The lead delegate's tendrils writhed in what might have been skepticism. "Impossible. Chaos breeds more chaos." "Exactly," Dr. Zhang exclaimed. "An idea forming. And from chaos comes creation. Every creative breakthrough, every innovation, they all come from what you call our chaotic thoughts." At that moment, a communication finally broke through from Ambassador Reyes to Chair Okafor's secure device. The message was brief. "Union fleet in position. Observers only. The silence are known to them. Ancient legends of thought harmonizers who disappeared millennia ago. Believed to be myth until now." Chair Okafor maintained her composure, but inside her mind raced. If the silence were ancient enough to be considered mythical by the Union's oldest members, what were they truly facing? "We propose a demonstration," she announced to the delegates. "Allow us to show you why our chaotic thoughts aren't a threat, but a gift." Meanwhile, in orbit, Ambassador Reyes had convinced the Union observers to participate in an unprecedented experiment. Union scientists had analyzed the energy signatures emanating from Earth, the collective creative output of humanity directed at the silent ships, and detected something extraordinary. "The patterns aren't random," explained the Luminar scientist. "They're fractal, self-organizing. Your species' thoughts create complex emergent structures, like consciousness itself." Reyes felt a surge of hope. "Can we amplify them?" The Luminar's crystalline form shimmered, their equivalent of thoughtful consideration. It would be unprecedented, but possible. Back in Geneva, the silence delegates had reluctantly agreed to Chair Okafor's proposal. A demonstration would be arranged. A direct mental link between selected humans and the silence, heavily shielded to prevent what they called contamination. Dr. Zhang volunteered immediately. "I'd spent my career studying alien consciousness. I know the risks." General Volkov stepped forward as well. You'll need military discipline to maintain focus. Chair Okafor nodded. And I will represent our leadership. The young aide who had laughed earlier raised her hand. I'd like to volunteer too. Everyone turned to her in surprise. Sophia Chen. She introduced herself. I'm a performance artist when I'm not assisting the council. If they fear creativity, they should experience it directly. The lead silenced delegate's tendrils contracted, possibly their version of hesitation. 4 subjects will be permitted. The exposure will be brief. As preparations were made for the mental link, Sophia approached Dr. John quietly. I know what you're planning, she whispered. You think, if we can expose them to enough creative chaos, they might understand us. He nodded. Our chaotic thoughts terrify them because they don't understand their purpose. Creativity looks like disorder until you see the pattern emerging. In orbit, Ambassador Reyes and the Union scientists had completed their preparations. The Union ships positioned themselves in a complex geometric array around Earth, creating what the scientists call a psychic amplification field. It wouldn't generate thoughts, only strengthen the natural emanations from humanity below. On your signal, Ambassador, the Luminar scientist confirmed. Reyes took a deep breath. Everything depended on timing now. Wait for my mark. In Geneva, the 4 human volunteers sat in a circle around a device the silence had provided, a pulsing orb of the same iridescent material as their bodies. The silence delegates stood at a distance, tendrils extended toward the orb. Begin, commanded the lead delegate. The moment the connection activated, the humans felt a sensation like cold water washing through their minds. The silence presence was orderly, mathematical, beautiful in its symmetry, but utterly rigid. Chair Okafor focused on diplomacy, complex negotiations, the delicate balance of competing interests. General Volkov channeled military strategy. Precise, disciplined, yet adaptable to changing conditions. Dr. Zhang projected scientific discovery, the moment when chaos resolves into understanding. And Sophia Chen, she opened her mind to pure creativity, the wild joy of imagination unbound. The silence delegates recoiled immediately, their tendrils flaring in distress. Too much, too chaotic. But Sophia pushed harder, sending not just her own creativity, but drawing on humanity's collective output, the songs, stories, jokes, and art being broadcast worldwide. This isn't chaos, she insisted mentally. This is creation. The lead delegate's form flickered as it struggled to maintain coherence. It overwhelms, disrupts. Because you resist it, Dr. Zhang projected. Flow with it instead. In orbit, Ambassador Reyes received the signal she'd been waiting for, a spike in energy from the Geneva location. Now, she commanded. The Union ships activated their amplification field. Instantly, the creative output of humanity, everything from symphony orchestras playing in defiance to children drawing pictures of friendly aliens, magnified 1,000-fold, directed not as a weapon, but as an embrace around the silent ships. In Geneva, the silence delegates trembled, their forms becoming increasingly unstable. You're hurting them, General Volkov warned, preparing to break the connection. No, Chair Okafor realized, watching closely. They're changing. The lead delegate's tendrils were indeed shifting, from rigid patterns to flowing, organic movements. Its core, previously a uniform blue-green, now swirled with colors. What is happening? Its mental voice sounded different, less mechanical, more alive. Sophia Chen smiled. You're experiencing creativity, chaos becoming creation. In space, something extraordinary occurred. The silent ships, previously perfect obsidian formations, began to transform. Their surfaces rippled with color. Their shapes became more organic fluid. Ambassador Reyes watched in awe as the ships rearranged themselves, not in rigid military formation, but in a pattern remarkably similar to a double helix. They're responding. The Luminar scientist whispered. Your species' thought patterns are healing them. In Geneva, The mental connection had deepened. Now the humans could sense what the silence truly were, an ancient species that had evolved beyond physical bodies, becoming pure consciousness. Millennia ago, they had sought perfect order as protection against the universe's entropy. In pursuit of harmony, they had calcified, losing the creative spark that had made them sentient in the first place. We forgot. The lead delegate's thoughts flowed more naturally now. Creation requires chaos. Without it, stagnation. Dr. Zhang understood immediately. You've been stuck in perfect order for so long you forgot how to grow. Yes, the delegate acknowledged. Many cycles ago, we feared change, established the harmony. But harmony without variation is not music. It is a single sustained note. Chair Okafor leaned forward. And now? Now we remember. The purpose of order is not to eliminate chaos, but to provide the structure upon which chaos can build new patterns. The connection gently dissolved as the silence delegates withdrew, their forms now pulsing with a rainbow of colors instead of the uniform blue-green. We must reconsider. The lead delegate spoke aloud, its voice musical and alive. Your species will not be relocated. In orbit, the silent ships continued their transformation. Several smaller vessels broke formation, approaching the Union observers. Ambassador Reyes received a direct communication from the silence overseer, no longer threatening, but curious. You have awakened something long dormant in us, the overseer's message stated. We request dialogue. The crisis had passed. Within hours, the silent ships withdrew to a respectful distance. Communication systems across Earth came back online. The initial panic gave way to cautious celebration, though the enormous black ships, now streaked with color, served as a reminder of how close they had come to disaster. 2 weeks later, Ambassador Rice presented the formal alliance agreement to the Union Council. The Silence, now calling themselves the Chorus, had requested membership after an absence of 20,000 years. Their technology remains among the most advanced we've encountered, she explained. But they recognize now that technological advancement without creative growth leads to stagnation. They wish to learn from humanity. The Luminar representative's crystalline form sparkled with amusement. It seems humans have a unique contribution to make to the galaxy after all. Your chaotic minds have accomplished what millennia of diplomatic efforts could not. The return of the ancients. Ileana smiled. Sometimes the universe needs a little chaos to find a better harmony. On Earth, the incident entered cultural history as the laughter invasion. When humanity's refusal to surrender to fear, their insistence on finding humor even in existential threat, had saved not only themselves, but an ancient species that had forgotten how to change. Sophia Chen's impromptu joke during the first contact meeting became the title of her acclaimed performance piece, Have You Tried Meditation? And across the galaxy, species that had once regarded humans with bemusement or concern began to view them differently. As catalysts, as creators, as the species that reminded the universe that true harmony isn't found in perfect order, but in the beautiful balance between chaos and structure, between tradition and innovation. The stars trembled not in fear, but in awakening to humanity's defiance of the expected. And the universe was better for it.